Boss in the Sauce Show.
Boss in the Sauce Show.
Boss in the Sauce Show.
Boss in the Sauce Show. Here we go.
What up? What up? What up? Bow! Hey, thank you for tuning in to the Boss in the Sauce Show. I am the boss, of course. The Sauce happens not to be with us today because we're going to be talking Pac-12 today. So we bring it over to the West. Now, who better for me to talk Pac-12 with today over here on the West than USC's own Picks from Dave. What up, Picks for Dave? How you feeling today?
I'm feeling great. I can be the Alfredo, the pale sauce for the day. I'm honored to be even mentioned in the same realm as our man Big Ragu. But as you know, I'm a big Pac-12 fan. This will be my last year of being a Pac-12 fan because in the next few years there won't be a Pac-12. So either way, glad to be here. Let's talk some football.
Let's talk some football, man. And yeah, Dave is absolutely right. We don't know what the state of the Pac-12 is, and we are going to be moving on. But hey, one last year. Let's go right into it. Right here in my own backyard, USC, one of the teams I love to hate. My man Dave happens to be tied up to USC, which is all good, though. Let's run it through. Lincoln Riley's second year right here. He was 11-3 last year, 8-1 in the conference. He's 7-0 at home, 4-1 away. This year he brings back 8 on offense, 9 on defense, 14 transfers, and on top of that, he has one of the top quarterbacks this year in Caleb Williams. So last year, points per game, they're about number 5. Rushing, they were 51, and passing, they were number 3 on the offensive side. He also brings back Austin Jones, Mario Willen. They are loaded over here at USC. And then on the defensive side of things, where last year they were 61 in points per game, 72 rushing, and 104 pass, which is horrible. And we all know that's a part of Lincoln Riley's MO. But, Dave, what do you have to say about your USC team this year?
So I have to say that, and we talked about this too, and I'll put Homer-ness aside. I think that this is last year was the first time that I could bet on USC. I can't tell you how many times in my capping career, which started, betting career, I've bet since I was underage, but truly capping stuff has been about 8 years. There hasn't been a better time to bet them. Last year, we made money betting on USC to cover spreads, which they never did, which was crazy. And the story with USC is going to be the same thing. Their offense is hot. They got a bunch of great guys. They got Marshawn Lloyd from South Carolina, Dorian Singer from Arizona. Those are both offensive players, running back, wide receiver. And they got Mason Cobb as a linebacker. But that's what they need. So the big question is going to be one of two things. Did the defense get better, or is the offense powerful enough to just have a bang-out, smash-out, rocket-fueled brawl? Because they're a team that will score 70 points, but if they go up against another team that can do the same thing, and there are some of those teams in this conference that can do that, that's going to be USC's recipe for success. I just think that the coach-quarterback tandem and also the culture that Lincoln Riley brought in immediately and changed, because these are still kids. He's molded their minds. They're sipping the Kool-Aid. I think this is definitely not a playoff front runner, but definitely you can't bet them out of not contending to go to the playoffs.
Okay, I see what you're saying, but I also have my bit to say, and it is from a little hater aspect of it because I'm a Notre Dame fan. But it also is to the reality. So to the reality of Lincoln Riley, his issue at Oklahoma was defense. His issue at USC continues to be defense. Coming to the West Coast was to pick up some of these top defensive players now. Still grabbing so many players out of the transfer means maybe he didn't get enough of the local talent, and he went elsewhere. So I don't know what the state of the defense is going to be, and that's going to be the key because the offense is going to be keyed up a little bit more. Some of those miraculous stuff that Caleb did last year, it won't be so easy this year. So unless he advances on the offensive side of, I mean, the guy's already been under this guy for 2 years. It's going to be his third year under Lincoln Riley. He knows the system at this point, so I don't know if they're still installing new stuff or just trying to perfect what they got. But it was the first year last year. The element of surprise is gone. These guys got taped this time. So, in California schools, you kind of can't count out the dark horse sometimes just because the athletes all played together in these different states and all that kind of stuff. And you don't know who won the championship in high school over the other one. And, some teams actually step up when you thought they were down because of the people they playing against, they know. So, I'm not against USC. I say for the better part of it, hey, go ahead and win the Pac-12 at least before you leave. That's got to be a goal. You know what I'm saying? But as far as the season wins, over or under 10 for USC looks definitely doable. What do you think, Dave, on the over under 10 for the season? I know you don't like betting futures, but just for practicality of how well of a season you think they're going to have, what do you think? Over under 10?
This is a bad bet just because I think that it's more likely that they hit 10 wins and they push. But I'm going to say this. There are 4 games that worry me. Obviously, at Notre Dame, Utah at home, Washington at home, and at Oregon. I'm gonna say, and I know you won't like this, that they beat Notre Dame at Notre Dame. I'm gonna hope that they have that you have to think that last year, after losing in the Pac-12 championship and then losing by, I think it was 3 points, and it was by a roughing the passer call in the first quarter. I hope they beat Utah at home. The questions are going to be Washington, who I think, and Oregon, who have ridiculous offenses. I think they either lose. I think they either lose at Oregon or at home to Washington. And let's say they fall to one of those games with Utah or Notre Dame. They're either 10-2 or 11-1 in my mind, and that's a very optimistic look. But this is a bet I wouldn't. I think they land right on 10.
Yeah, at the end of the day, the tail end of the schedule is tough, and that could be the fate of your over under 10. And that's going to be Washington, Oregon, and UCLA. UCLA, the rival.
Yep.
Oregon, second year with a quality coach, and Washington with that awesome coach over there with the high-powered offense. So, and defense is where they lack. So those are high-powered offensive teams. I'm not sure about UCLA though. Without Thompson, I don't know how they bounce back from that. But we'll get into that. Let's keep this boat moving. Next team coming up. Let's go. Boom, Utah, Kyle Willingham, 19th year here, 10-4 last season, 7-2 in the conference. His record is 154-72, which is above 500. So shouts out to him. At home, he's 84-25, and away he's 57-42. So the guy knows how to pair. He can play on the road. He can play at home. He's bringing back 7 on offense, 9 on defense. A real classy 8 transfers, which I can respect because I don't like these teams that pull too many transfers because we haven't seen great success with multiple transfers like that. But on the offensive side of things, he has Cam Rising, a highly talented quarterback over there to lead the troops. Last year, he didn't do bad on offense. Points per game, number 14. Running the ball, number 11. Passing the ball, 51. And on the defensive side of things, he brings back quite a few, including the transfer. So bringing this transfer back on the starting defense right here, on a defense that last year points per game were 29, against the run was 19, against the pass was 18. They look like they can put something together, Dave. I mean, if you want to look from reading it how it is right now, it's almost a carbon copy of what you got going on at SC, except for you got a 19-year coach versus a second-year coach. When they meet, do you think that coaching experience is going to play its part in this game?
I'm going to say Whittingham is probably, as far as tenure, if you're looking at who the better coach, and better is, these are the two best coaches, and Lincoln Riley's a young mind, but Whittingham is a snake whisperer. He's been able to do things with this team who hasn't gotten the talent that the rest of the Pac-12 or that the Division One has had. So I think it's going to be, that's going to be a crazy game. But if we're looking at this team, the number one question is whether Cam Rising is healthy or not. He tore his ACL. That's the kiss of death for all sports. He's going to probably be playing with a brace. He's going to slow down. This is a guy that is mobile. So we'll see how it happens. But when we'll get to the win total in a second, but I'm looking at 4 games where I think they're in trouble, in my opinion.
Let's take a look at that then. Right into it, we got off the bat, we got Florida and Baylor. They get a break with Weber State, back up to play UCLA. Then you got to play that Oregon State. And USC, they skip Oregon State this year. But that defense over there is something crazy. And you're going to be playing at Oregon State. You might slide through Cal. Your biggest game of the year is going to be SC. And right after that, win, lose, or draw, you got to play Oregon. So later on, you got Washington. And, they have a lighter – if it comes close, like SC, we expect to be rough at the end. They could glide through at the end. So if they do a good job at the top half, they'll be great. But I don't think they can do a good job up there. And the books agree with me, giving them an over-under 8.5.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Actually, I think there's 6 games that are kind of troubling. But they start off the year with Florida at home and at Baylor. I can't help but think that they lose one of those games. If they win both those games, they're on a good track. But I'm going to give them a loss at one of those, and it's potentially they can lose 2. Or you've mentioned Oregon State. The type of game that this team has problems with are defensive games, and they have a good defense. Utah always has a good defense. Oregon State lost some players, but that's what this Oregon State team did. They were one of the best defensive teams, not a great team in general, but defensive teams in the Division One. So I think that could be a sneaky loss at Oregon State. Then you've got at SC, at Washington, at Oregon. Oregon's at home. I think they beat Oregon at home, but I think they might lose. They lose to SC. They lose to Washington. I think this could. I don't know. I think this could be an under. If I'm betting this, I might bet them to win eight games. That's what I think.
Yeah, if I had to take a real future on this Utah team schedule, I could take it right now blindly of what the line is. You can give me the line when it shows up, but I take whatever it is plus the points or minus the points with Oregon right after USC. No matter how they show up to play USC, it's going to impact them win, lose, or draw against Oregon. So
yeah, Oregon's the crutch game. Oregon's the game. I agree with you. 100%.
Yeah, I think that's a good look at some things we need to write down for coming into this. I'll remember this one though. We're gonna be looking October 28th. Put that on your calendar for Oregon. Hopefully, if they beat USC, they'll be a big favorite, and Oregon to upset them. And if they lose, we could probably get an even match, or we could still get plus points with Oregon. But it will have a telltale of what Oregon is this year. So let's run over and take a look at Oregon. Dan Lannon, second-year coach right here. Real classy guy right here. I'm glad they got rid of Mario Cristobal. We see what he's doing where he's at, and I just don't trust that guy. But this guy's a little more laid back, a little more sensible, a little more talented. First year in last year, 10-3, 7-2 in the conference. He was 5-1 at home, 4-1 away. I say he protected the house. And this year, lucky him, gets back 8 on offense, 8 on defense, but he must be installing his own system to pick up 16 off the transfer portal. Let's take a look at the offense. Last year, ranked number 12 points per game, number 13 running, and number 20 passing, which is great. They bring back Bo Nix. I think Bo Nix kind of surprised me with Dan Lanning the way he fit in over here. I really thought that guy was a bum from what he had before. So Bo Nix is something to keep an eye on. If he keeps it up, could be in the Heisman race. We don't know. But Bo Nix is definitely on the positive side coming back. And on the defensive side of thing is once again where he suffers, just like Lincoln Riley. Points per game, he was 74. Against the run, he was 32. And against the pass, he was 110. So maybe that's what warrants a lot of those transfers that he brought in to try to tighten up this defense, man. What do you think about this Oregon team overall? And one question I want to know, from your years of being at USC, I'm pretty sure you either went to a SC versus Oregon game or maybe you took that trip to Oregon and watched them out there. What's the vibe of that game? Like, are you guys like king of Oregon, or is the Oregon like the little one that could, like, how does Tommy the Trojan look at the Duck?
That's a good question. I went to school there 20 years ago during the glory years, during Carroll and all that. So Oregon wasn't good when I was there. They got good right after. Actually, they were good right before with Joey Harrington, if you remember him, right before in the late 90s. And then they got good after I left. They kind of changed the way they did things. They became more of a run and gun type of school. I'm going to say this. I am not a Bo Nix fan. I think I say this with baseball players. You are what's on the back of your card. He had one good year, but he fucking couldn't cut it at Auburn, which has kind of been like a middling school in the granted it's the SEC. But I'm looking at their schedule, and one other thing. What do you do with all those transfers? That's a big question mark. You don't know what's going to happen. But I'm looking at their schedule. And there's a lot of question marks. They can win or lose games at Texas Tech, at Washington, at Utah, against SC, at home versus Oregon State, which I forget the name of the rivalry game. It's something with an axe, right? Or is it? I don't remember. But either way, I mean, they could have. To me, I'm going to say I don't know. They could win 10 games. They could win 7 games. With some upsets by some others. So this is a big question mark. It's going to be up to Bo Nix, and it's going to be up to this transfer deal. So I don't know.
Yeah, on the brighter side of the thing, they have a tendency to look going into it because they have a chance to go, let's say 5-0. Portland State, Texas Tech could be a tough game, but it's winnable. Hawaii's going to be simple. Colorado, the odds are against Dion. But we'll have to see, how it goes, moving forward. If they're not the team, maybe there's not much competition. But they should be Colorado and Stanford until they have to see Washington, which could be a tough game. And then after that,
Washington State might sneak one in there. I mean, this is a team that just like SC that loses games they shouldn't, and they have. So that's why I can't say. I think they're third or fourth in the rankings say Utah's lower. Well, I actually think Oregon, Utah, and Washington are all a question mark for 2, 3, 4, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this much: in the game of season totals right here, though, this is a prime point you want to take. You want to take an under on this 9.5 right here. I mean, Bo Nix gets injured a few games. They not have the season that they thought. Their defense was already suspect last year. If they don't plug them holes in the boats, the damn thing might sink. So I think this is, if you are a future bettor, this is a good value quality bet to take, and that's under on Oregon Ducks.
I don't disagree. I think it's more likely the under hits.
Yep. So let's keep it moving through the Pac-12. Let me get my controls together as we jump on over into this next one. Kalen DeBoer. Look at him right there, Dave. He's throwing up the dub out of Washington right there, man. This guy is excited, man. Mountain West, where I do it the best. This guy's a transfer from over at Fresno State. High-powered offense guy, man. His offense, he by the time his career is over, I'm pretty sure his offense is going to average about 30 points a game or more. But this is his second year at Washington. Last year, he had a good year coming over from Fresno State. The crazy part about it is he could have took Hayner, who's in the NFL now, with him to Washington, and he chose not to. And he still won 11-2, 7-2 in the conference, 7-0 at home. How does a first-year coach hold it down 7-0 at home, 3-2 away, bringing back 7 on the offense, 8 on the defense? That's almost a standard in the Pac-12 so far. But a classy 9 transfers. I can respect 9 transfers. That's not overdoing it. Now, taking a look at the offense, brings in a transferred quarterback, Penix, who I don't really care for this guy right here. But we'll see. Maybe he sees something in him because of the type of offenses that he run. Last year, points per game, he was number 8. He doesn't run the ball much. He was 81, but passing, the number 1 ranked offense in the college football. And on the defensive side of things, he's not as bad as Lincoln Riley and Dan Lenny in the pass area. But he holds it down also points per game and in the rush. So I could say overall his defense might be a little bit better than the rest. And he's going into his second year. I think he has just amount of shot as all the other teams this year. If you had to say this team was a dark horse, I'm taking them as a dark horse. What do you think about Washington right here?
I don't think they're that dark. Like I said, these 3 teams are there. Penix, they're saying it might be a Heisman candidate. Might challenge Williams as the best quarterback in the conference. Problem is, Washington's been known for the defensive backs. Historically, they haven't been that way recently. It's very similar to SC, but if you have to just go off of coach, quarterback, talent, and history, if you're comparing them to SC, you have to think that they're not going to be quite as good. And looking at their schedule, they face Boise State, then Tulsa, then they're at Michigan State. They could lose both these games. Also, Washington's a team that's known for losing games they shouldn't. I said that's kind of maybe the Pac-12 in general. But then they're at SC. They play Utah. They're at Oregon State. I think this might be a 9-win team too, personally. 9 or 8 or 9.
Yeah, they got a good shot at the 8 or 9, but I see basically a 5-0 team right here. I mean, DeBoer, he coached in the Mountain West. He has what it takes to knock down Boise State, especially in the opener where Boise State dropped the ball last year against Utah in the opener. I mean, against who was it? Florida in the opener. And this year, oh no, that was Utah. But Boise State dropped the opener last year, I know for sure. But here's another chance, Pac-12 Mountain 10. They could get the edge on that. Then he plays his Tulsa team. I haven't really capped Tulsa in its entirety, so I'm going to put a small question mark. But Michigan State is on a down year. California's on a down year. Arizona's on a down year. And then they play Oregon at home. So this team got a chance to look like something that they're really not. So I don't know. Like you said, the season total is teetering right on the 9, on a good level 10 radius. And it's not a great value bet to go under or over in this one. You got anything on this season total?
No, I agree with you. And by the way, like, let's say they do blow through I think they could potentially have trouble and lose a game or two, but this is a team, even at Stanford or even Washington State that comes in the last game, this is a team that kind of just peters out at the end of the race. So not something I want to bet, but I'd bet the under. I'd bet the 9. I'd say 9.
Now back to one of back to the next team. This is one of Dave's favorite college things to do late night, and that's a nice young lady with a nice beaver. Oregon State Beavers, Jonathan Smith, 6 year here. This guy's been doing a good job at laddering up his squad right here. Overall, the record's not great from his first start, but last year 10-3, 6-3 in the conference. He's 26-31 overall. He's 17-12 at home, 8-6 on the road. Doesn't prepare well on the road, so gotta fade him on the road. But at home is where you want to take this guy and his offense, but his defense is amazing as well. He's returning 8 on offense, but only 5 on defense, and he only grabbed 7 out of the transfer portal. So how he's looking overall, he brings in this guy, and this guy from Clemson, I look at him like a klutz sometimes. I don't think he has what it takes. He was given every opportunity in the world to be a stud, and he didn't do well at Clemson. DJ Anglia is his name, and he's coming over here to play quarterback. Now, as far as his attributes, he is sized appropriately, he has a really strong arm. He can run at a slow pace, kind of like Vince Young used to run, but not as athletic, but he can. And last year, this team was ranked 50 on offense, points per game, 24 on the rush. They ran the ball game good, 110 on the pass. In games that they were the favorite, they dominated the defense pretty good. So defense is where they get their bread at. Last year, they were number 11 in points per game, number 24 on the rush, and better than some of the top schools we already seen last year at the pass, and that's number 76 right there. And they size appropriately, they coach appropriately, and, I think this is not more, say, a school that's going to, turn the tables or win the Pac-12. But they will kick a leg out of some good teams. They could beat the SCs. They could beat the Oregons. They could beat the Utah. This is kind of like any given Sunday type football team. What you think about this Oregon State team?
I really, as far as other teams in this conference, I really like them. They don't play SC, and we'll talk about their schedule is actually pretty weak, which is good for them. But some other things too. They have one of the better, or maybe the best, offensive line in the conference. They've got a tailback that's really good. Their defense took a hit. A lot of guys left, but it's still a defensive team. And I'm not a Ugalele. I think that's how you say his name. I think was bad, but Bo Nix was bad at Auburn. So maybe the change of scenery will be, a thing. I think this team, I don't think they win because there's teams that are better than them. But they, like you said it perfectly, they'll kick a leg out and knock someone over. And going into their schedule, I think they have a really weak schedule.
Let's take a look at that.
Yeah. They got, San Jose State's another high-powered team, they're better than them. Then they play Davis. Give me a break. San Diego State's a question mark. That's always a team. That's a team that you know well. It's a question mark. We don't know. They're at Washington State. They play Utah at home. They could upset Utah. Cal, UCLA, Arizona, Buffalo, Stanford, win, potentially. Then they finish up with Washington and at Oregon. So, another really, really tough bet. But if things go their way, they could win 9 games.
Man, I think this team right here could go 8-1 all the way up to Washington and Oregon. If they get past it. So it's going to be to the fate of what Washington, Oregon.
Who are they losing to? San Diego State or Utah?
They're losing to Utah for sure.
Utah, okay.
San Diego State, that quarterback that they got over there, he still got some. The jury's still out on him, so I'm not convinced with that. San Jose State's going to have it tough. They play SC in week 0. Then they're going to turn around and play Oregon State.
Yeah.
I think SC's going to run them out the building. That's what SC wants. They want to blow teams out. That's what tradition is. Take that SC minus those points this weekend, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't think I don't see the value. If we're gonna bet a future, let's bet a future like the Oregon under, where there's a plenty of value. I don't see the value at 8 wins. If they had it up at 9, I would be more tempted for them staying away from 10 than playing around with the 8.5. Would you bet this one?
No. There's none that I've seen that I bet, and it takes a very, very compelling argument, but I would not be surprised if they won 9 games. I would not be surprised.
Now let's go to crosstown rival right here. Chip Kelly over here at UCLA in his 6 years. Is Chip on the hot seat? Is he got to perform? what's going on with Chip. He is a somewhat pro style coach, quality guy to have on your team. He could have a great legacy at UCLA. 6 year, I think you got to give Chip at least 2 more years. I mean, UCLA, they just a great season is 10 wins, and last year they were 9-4, 6-3 in the conference. They were 20. He's 27 and 29 overall. He kind of came in during those Kobe years, and he didn't really get the NIL played a big part of him getting some big players over there because it's Hollywood and you can do that kind of stuff. But he's 15, I mean 16 and 16 at home. That's not good for your seat. He's 11 to 12 away. That's not good for your seat. But he returns 7 on offense, 9 on defense. He grabs 13 transfers, which kind of lets me know his seat could be on fire. And he loses his quarterback, but he brings in Dante Moore behind him. He goes with running back Carson Steele at running back. I don't know what that's about. And he brings back Carson Ryan at tight end. Good target at tight end for a fresh young quarterback. That can help. I don't expect this team offense to reflect the offense that they had last year. Number 5 at the run, mostly because of the quarterback. 32 at the pass, mostly because they had to buy their way out of games and keep playing to 50-something points. So as far as those type of things, I think those numbers are kind of soft. And then on the defensive side is where it's really going to have to change in order for anything to happen. Points per game, they were 99. Against the run, they were 36. Against the pass, they were 119. To me, it looks like another 9-win or less season to me. But what you think? Is Chip Kelly on the hot seat, and does this team go over 9 wins?
I think everywhere Chip Kelly has gone after Oregon has been a failure. He went to the Eagles, he went to the Niners, I was at UCLA. All this team is going to do is play spoiler. That's all they're going to do. They lost their heart and soul. They lost their QB and their running back, both their dudes, and they're left with kind of rebuilding year. I know they got the guy from Ball State, Carson Steele, so effing what. It's just not a good team. They're going to play spoiler. They're going to maybe upset a team or two, but in no way are they challenging for anything. And I just think they're blah vanilla. That's what they are.
I would agree too. I hope I hope they get a little overrated, but the books are on to them. 8.5 wins. I kind of would lean under that, but the schedule kind of plays in their favor. Coastal Carolina without their quarterback. Once again, San Diego State could be a down year. North Carolina Central, I don't even know where they at. Utah could be a challenge. Washington State could be a challenge. They can make it through. If they could go 1-1 out of there, it'd be great. Oregon State, they'll probably catch a loss right there at Oregon State, but they'll come back and beat up on Stanford. If Deion is in the rebuilding year, they'll beat up on him. They'll beat up on Arizona. They'll try to beat up Arizona State, and that's where it could get tricky. But this year, you heard it out of my mouth first right here. They definitely lose to SC in that spot right there.
Yeah, I'm with you. And this, if of all of the totals, and it makes me kind of think maybe even want to bet this. I'm looking at their schedule. They lose to Utah at Utah. They lose to Oregon State, in my opinion. And they lose to SC. So that's 9 wins. Do they win both Coastal Carolina and then at SDSU? I don't think so. So I think this is 8 wins at best. Coastal Carolina can. I think this is the best total we've seen. I'm gonna go look at this. This is an under.
Yeah, for plus money, I'm taking the under. But if it's juiced up, I'm out of there.
Yeah.
But plus money, the under sounds like a good bet on that side. Let's jump on over to the bottom 6 in the Pac-12. Back to the top again. Coming in at number 7 right here is Wade up north with Jack Dickert in his 3rd year. Now, everybody knows I'm kind of high on 3rd and 4th year coaches. He's bringing back 7 on offense, but 5 on defense. That's not the greatest. But I guess he thinks he has everything under control because he only brings back 8. Only goes and get 8 transfers. Now, last year he was 7-6, 4-5 in the conference. He's 10-9 overall, 5-4 at home, 5-3 on the way. in today's market, he has about 2 more years before that seat heats up. So I think he would have to make some type of impression this year. Do you know anything about this Jake Dicker guy?
No, I'm more into. Well, Jake Dicker. Where did he come from before? Let's look it up real quick. But I want to talk about his offensive coordinator more than him. But
Okay, go for it.
let's look at him real quick. I know we're trying to move this along. Jake Dickert, by the way, is a young coach. He's only 1 year older than me, and this offensive coordinator is 27 years old. So this just tells you what's going on. Where did he come from? He was the interim head coach. He came from Wyoming. Yeah, this is an untested head coach, and then this offensive coordinator who came from Western Kentucky that everyone's kind of oohing and awing over because Western Kentucky was a big, showy offense, and this Washington State is an offensive team, especially with Cam Ward and all that, inexperienced to hell. So how could you think, unless these guys are fucking savants, you have a head coach that's 40 or 39, and you have or 40, and you have an offensive coordinator that's 27? Big question marks.
The players are going to take over the team right there.
That's what I'm saying.
They bring in
bro.
Cameron Ward. They have a big left tackle. He's a new recruit right there, Alicia Poe. Now that guy could be a stud right there, and it'll help on the line. But they were 114 last year against the run, 71 points per game, 43 versus the pass. But that's typical out of these West Coast teams. Some teams just have great secondaries. But on the defensive side of things, I'm sorry, I'm going to stick to offense. But anyways, on the defensive side of things, points per game, they 37. Against the run, they 47. But against the pass, they're 115. And they bring in a transfer over here at D tackle to try to beef it up front. I mean, I think the cards are against them. Like you said, the top-heavy teams are way too heavy for, this little trick bag to work. So I don't think this trick bag is going to work. Will they win some games? Or I think you may want to watch them ATS more than anything. They might be one of those teams that's able to cover ATS, or they're just going to be getting the team that's going to be getting the shit kicked out of them.
I think what you look at them too is against bad defenses, team total overs, because they score a lot of points. I'm looking at their schedule; they might win 6 games. The problem with this team, why they give SC problems, good teams like SC, is because bad teams with bad defenses that they can score on. But when they get a good defensive front, even though Ward and all them are mobile and they spread their line out and they do that whole thing, they get manhandled by bigger teams. So I think it's right at 6. And if they lose to Colorado State the first game, then it's 5. So it's not a good bet.
Yeah, I don't see a good bet in the season total on that one. Let's keep it moving. Jump right into the next one. Now, this one. Hey, that used to be my signature move in the club back in the day. Ha, 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 ha. You know what I'm saying? Justin Wilcox right here, 7th year. 30 and 36 overall, 20 and 14 at home, 9 and 21 away. This guy's seat has to be heating it up. He's throwing in the kitchen sink this time. 8 on offense, 9 on defense, 17 transfers. Last year he was 4 and 8, 2 and 7 in the conference. What the hell is this guy doing still here?
I don't know. They need something. Not to say that anything anyone can do will make Cal better. Cal hasn't been relevant in my life. They had Aaron Rodgers and Marshawn Lynch. That was 20 years ago. They're bad all around. And I don't even need to really. I mean, I'll look at their schedule and all that I'm going to right now. But there's nothing else to say that then they got a guy from TCU, transfer of quarterback. He's going to win the job. Great. He was a backup or a third stringer. Who the crap cares? I mean, they're hopeless. This team.
Yeah, this team has it tough. He dug deep in that transfer portal. They got a lot of work to do over there. I'm not sure if he did his way out of this tunnel right here. I mean, and even if he did, I think it still would be some questions at his longevity over here. As far as the season wins right here, North Texas could be – I don't even think that's winnable. Auburn lost. Idaho,
They'll beat
maybe
Idaho. Yeah.
Washington. That'll be the best matchup for them considering the state of those. I mean, no, not Washington. I mean, I thought that was Washington State, but Washington, no, they can't handle them at all.
They'll lose to
Arizona
Arizona
State,
State too, I think.
yeah. Oregon State, that'll be Oregon's big win. USC will get them. Oh, they got to play Oregon State, Utah, USC, Oregon, Washington State in a row. Forget about it.
And then the rivalry game at Stanford at the end of the season. Oh no, sorry.
If I had to take a future, I'd take the under in this.
I'm with you too. I think this is actually the second best bet. They won 4 games last year. I think they'll be lucky to win 4 games.
Yeah, I think they would be lucky to win 4. Let's keep it moving since we're on the lower side of the conference. We're not going to spend too much time with these teams. Third-year coach Jed Fitch right here, 5-7 last year, 3-5 in the conference. He's 6-18, 4-9 at home, 2-8 away. This guy's just stinking up the field. I think he might fall in the Mario Cristobal and the what's his name over there at Nevada. Those two coaches, they just comment, man. They know enough football to get a job. And I think he got the job right here, but he haven't really did nothing with it. It's not like you can't get kids to come play in Arizona. Kids love to play in Arizona. So I don't understand what's going on right here, and I don't see much success for them moving forward. On the offensive side of things, they dig a transfer, and also on the defensive side of things, they dig a transfer. So, and I mean, what good is digging the transfers when you were 125 points per game on defense last year? You bringing this kid that might have had some talent as a backup over here to be a bum.
Well, I think I will say this. Fitch did take a team that was 1 win a few years ago. Now they have 5 wins. So they're actually trending upwards. But that doesn't mean anything. When you're absolute shit and then you become shit, like it's not that big of a deal. Their quarterback, DeLaura, is serviceable on a college level. This team just doesn't have anything. They don't have the program, the coaching, the style of play to be able to compete. I do think they're better than Cal, though.
Think they're better than Cal. So do you think that they get past 5 wins themselves?
Oh, so
let's see if you can count them out. Count them out for them, Dave.
They win North Arizona. I'm going to come back to Stanford. They beat Buffalo. They beat Colorado. They may beat Arizona in the last game. And let's say that they could beat Stanford and UTEP. I think the number's right on it. I think they're 4 or 5 win team right there.
Yeah. It's under or don't play it at all. I mean,
yeah.
They have a possibility to win 5. More than likely, injuries or anything that plays this part, we're looking at a 4 win or less season. So, yeah, I'm with you on that one, Dave. Let's jump on in. Let's roll on through this one. We're going into the next one right next door. You could probably throw a football and hit that they scoreboard, huh? From where you at?
Nah, it's actually a long way. I'm on the west side of the state. They're in the middle, but.
Oh, okay. Well, Kenny Dillingham, he gets dealt a bad hand. First year here, covering after a 3-9 team, 2-7 in the conference. He gets 8 back and 5 back on defense from a team that wasn't doing that well anyway. So what does he have to do? Go grab 28 transfers and see if you can plug and play this one out. So plenty of transfers over here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Drew Payne from Notre Dame, he's trash. I don't think he's his skill level. I mean, his natural talent is not there, but he can play pretty hard from the heart. But not switching from those two schools, it doesn't make much sense. I don't see that coming together for him. And I don't have the defense on here, but what do you have to say about this Arizona Sun Devils? They've been known to be some heartbreakers, especially against SC at times. But I don't know if we're in that era, or is that just a thing of the past? What do you think for Arizona State on this one?
You never know. There's always these teams that do break your hearts. I remember Oregon State and Jaquiz Rogers in 2008 killing my dreams, and they were supposed to crush them. But I'll say this: head coaching, you went from Herm Edwards to the offensive coordinator at Oregon. That's not what you needed. You also get a quarterback from Notre Dame, and he's still not the named starter. They still don't know who their starter is.
Yeah.
This team, I mean, without even going through the schedule, if it's, I think it's still under or nothing. Um, I just don't see many winnable games. This is a team that if they overperformed would win 5 or 6 games, but if they shit the bed, I could see them winning 2 or 3. So it's under or nothing. But I don't pay attention to this team, especially with this stupid head coach coaching choice. It could have got way better than who they got. So.
Well, I got a super pick for y'all. Saturday, September 16th, Fresno State, Arizona State. Fresno State wins that game outright. I don't know what the line is going to be on or how it's going to look, but Fresno State is going to win that game. Fresno State is one of those few Mountain West teams that they do well versus the Pac-12. And here's a Arizona State team with their pants hanging down, and they're going to catch them right after Oklahoma State puts that defense on them. So they're going to get defensed up against Oklahoma State. They're going to be so tight that Fresno State's going to run the table with them.
I don't disagree. A good overperforming team versus a bad underperforming team.
Yep. So let's keep it moving to this one. Prime, where'd he go? My bad. Prime time, Deion Sanders. Must be the money that got me in Colorado. Must be the money. I think this story here has been thrashed all over the internet and all that stuff enough that everybody knows it like the back of their hand. I mean, he would be returning 6 on offense and 3 on defense, but even some of those transferred out, and basically he brought in about 51 transfers, even though they have a 46-man roster, so even some of those can't stay. But he had to bring in all the talent from outside to help him and his son. Does anybody want to donate to this guy and his son down in Colorado? I mean, his son is very talented at the level that he was playing. He does have potential to be a star. So we'll see. If he emerges as a star, then we could get a whole different look of Colorado, you know, and it'll be more or less like a coach and a son kind of running the table and getting everybody to run, you know, their program. Also, Deion comes in with the element of the surprise in the Pac-12 too. No one knows exactly what he's going to do, but I don't know if you ran the Jackson State train unders for his first and second year, but he is definitely a coach that believes in his defense. So I believe he's going to start on defense. Although he already got his son as a quarterback, that helps him out a little bit. But on defense is where he gets his money. He brings in some recruits over there, and the defense. I mean, you can make untalented players on defense play like they have talent through coaching and, you know, camaraderie and all that stuff. But this defense last year was horrible. But the numbers doesn't mean nothing because he basically brought in a brand new team. So I'm gonna just jump to the season total, Dave. I know everybody want to see your lovely face, but let's look at the season total and see if you can jump this season total. You tell me.
Well, I'll tell you right now, first of all, when you take a team and a college football team usually has 100 players, they don't all travel. They only travel with 60 or 65 or whatever. He's added 60 players. They've changed him in and out. It's almost a new team, like you said. This is a guy that came from a small school.
Yeah.
He's coming to a big division. I think it's super overhyped. They won 1 game last year. Anything will be an improvement. But just looking at this, I'm going to see which games they can win. And there is maybe there might be 3 games on this they can win. Maybe.
Yeah. I looked it up and down because it was so low. And I'm like, TCU, Nebraska with Matt Rule, Colorado State, maybe. And Colorado State's going to be trying to turn their chair around this year.
I think they beat
Oregon,
them. I think
USC, Arizona State, maybe Stanford,
Arizona
maybe.
State, Stanford, Washington State. Those sorry, Arizona. Those are the only three I think they can beat.
Yeah. So I mean, but if you're gonna put a silly future in on this one, then you gotta eat up the hype and all the social media controversy, and you gotta take Dion to go over 3.5 because it must be the money.
Yeah. Nah.
Last but not least, we into this last team. We thank y'all for hanging out with us, and we did do this in under an hour. But let's jump on to the last team right here. I mean, it's not much to say about Stanford, but they finally got their head out of their ass and ordered in a new coach. But Troy Traylor, even if he is the guy that has what it takes, they leave him 3 on offense, 3 on defense. He only picks up 4 in the transfer portal. We don't know what we're gonna see out of this Stanford team. Everyone expecting the worst out of this team. Do you see any bright light for Stanford this year?
No, it's by far the worst. We come from a team where we talk about Andrew Luck, Christian McCaffrey, all those guys. It's not that era anymore. And what's funny is this guy comes from Sacramento State. They play Sacramento State the 3rd game of the season. I think Sacramento State that's an iffy proposition too. I can't see piecing together 3 wins for this team either. It's just a bad team. We can skip to whatever. This team is the worst team.
Yeah.
This and Cal are the 2 worst teams, and they're the rivalry teams. They're the smart guys, but these teams suck.
Yeah, I mean, but this guy at Sacramento State, man, the guy was awesome over there. And, it's the same situation like Dion stepping up. But his offense over there at Sacramento State was high-powered. So, I don't know. I mean, as lame and stale as Stanford been all these years, no way even an exciting coach is going to add seasoning to that chicken. That chicken is bland. Don't eat that. But as far as the season total, they had a low 3. And I don't even think they can get to 3.
I think they have 3 at max. It's Sacramento State, Colorado, and Cal. Those are the only winnable games. They lose at Hawaii the first game of the season.
Yeah, well, thanks. Hopefully my Notre Dame don't goof up and let them play like they're going to beat them or something crazy.
Can you imagine if Notre Dame loses to them?
Hey, we lost to Boston College plenty of times, so it doesn't change anything for me. It happens all the time with Notre Dame, but not with this Stanford dish team. And Stanford is like our little brother. Like they kind of look up after. They want to be little Notre Dame, but that's not saying much going into this season either. But it's been great hanging out with you, Dave. We have some good West Coast content right here. I think I had 2 super picks in there. We came up with a couple great season totals. I think we served the people right this time, didn't we?
We sure do. And thanks for having me. I love talking Pac-12 and college football and all sports in general. Shout out, go watch the other conferences. I know they'll be here. And then watch the Boss and the Sauce and follow these guys because they're two of the best college football cappers that I know.
Absolutely. And don't forget to tell them to watch you every day. Follow you on TikTok, Instagram, pics from Dave, especially on Twitter. This guy's waking up early in the morning, something none of you would never do for any of us, and giving out free picks early as you can wake up and put them out. And sometimes it's a little scary, though, to see that face. As soon as I cut on my Twitter early in the morning, I'll be like, ow!
It's a face Dave. Only a mother can love. That's for sure.
But it's been a ball, man. Hopefully we have some more fun in the future. We'll be getting you back over here on the Boss and the Sauce every Saturday at 7:30. We're going to be coming on this Friday. We're going to be coming on Friday because it's 0 week. But we definitely be a joy to have you. I mean, you speak this sports thing like you've been in this business for 25 years, man. And I appreciate that. I love the way that you carry yourself. I love your insight. I love everything about you. That's why I asked you to come on over here. And I love that you're a damn USC fan, and I got something to hate on you about.
That's right. We'll see.
All right, man. Y'all take it easy, man. It's the Boss and the Sauce featuring my man Picks from Dave. Make sure you go follow Picks from Dave. That's capital P, Picks, capital F from capital D, Dave. And we out of here.